Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a Beyond the Summit broadcast of the RedBull Esports Championship League 2013. I am Luminous, and joining me alongside is a much more well-dressed Blitz Dota.
Dude, this is how I go to sleep at night.
Oh, really? Okay.
I look good at all times.
I do know that's how you go to sleep. We are quite close. Of course, this is DK versus LGD Gaming. This is the second half of your semifinals of the RedBull ECL. Of course, we did just have Orange beating out on Rising Star. The winner of this entire tournament goes home with $16,000, and more importantly, a spot in the ECL Land Grand Final somewhere down the road. Don't know exactly when and how much that is worth, but that's going to be what's in store for us in the future. Of course, DK versus LGD Gaming. These two teams have a lot of history together playing against each other. Two of the most kind of deaf Chinese team possible. Any particular thoughts of this series before we kind of go into it?
Correct me. Didn't DK actually beat LGD China for the last thing they played in the Super League, right? Yeah, when they got to the finals to play against Tongfu, right? That's who they had to beat.
Okay, for the DSL.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the case.
So normally I would think LGD China's the better team, but
Right.
lately they kind of slipped a little bit, but they did get to the finals of
Alien World Cup.
of the Alien World Cup. So it's not like they're a team that's slipped or anything.
I think LGD China is the better team because they, in terms of tournament standing, they went a little bit further. But in terms of a more of head-to-head matchup, DK might be somewhat favored because they're a team that actually is not as monotonous as LGD China. LGD China just does the same thing every single game.
You think DK doesn't though?
No, they actually been running offensive trial lanes and stuff lately.
I mean they did that as well, but their overall playstyle seems a little bit stagnant.
Okay.
Kind of pick a lot of stuns to protect burning, go for that like mid-game team fight, and from there on, just kind of ride on his back.
Well, we'll see exactly what they pick up here. Seems like LG China favors a lot more of Darkseer Visage and Nyx Assassin. Meanwhile, I guess there's less sample sizes for DK. Would it be possible in the future? Can we make a suggestion on camera? If we could get the percentage of the hero being picked, like under 15 for Visage, what is the percentage of 15 out of 50? So we get a better comparison to like, you know what? You get what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, I get you.
All right.
I have no idea what you meant. Why do you default go like this?
Because I'm such a gangster. Like I gotta hold myself back.
Okay, so
This cast is so dope. All right, DK's gonna be on the Radiant side. They open up with Alchemist and Weaver. LG Gaming is gonna be doing Visage and Magnus. So LG Gaming always love to pick Visage first, and I previously talked about in the first draft is that I don't think Visage is a fairly good hero unless you know you're gonna be going offensive trial lane, or unless you know you're gonna be having a trial lane versus trial lane.
in one of those situations, he's definitely a really solid hero. Sometimes I see China run it kind of weirdly.
Wait. I think that sign just said, "Chuan, I want to have your baby."
Nice.
I'm not sure if my
I'm putting a baby in someone at night. But
something like that.
anyways, but you're right there. I think that it should be an offensive tri lane hero,
Uh-huh.
just because that's
Or
what
just
the hero
try
does.
versus try
Yeah,
hero.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's where he's supposed to dominate. As a hero that kind of passively lanes, pulls and stacks, and kind of ganks, that's not really where his strength lies. You want to try to get the laning phase off the bat going with that hero.
But LG Gaming, even if they just flat out pick that hero without knowing what lane they're going to be, and a lot of times it ends up as a hero that just pulls and jungles and stacks, and which is fine. Now they have.
RTK.
I'm not sure exactly what that said, but I'm gonna focus on a little bit more on the draft here. LG Gaming do love their Magnuses though. They sometimes give it to Yao, sometimes they give it to Xiao 8, but with this kind of hero selection, I'm pretty sure we're going to see LG Gaming Xiao 8 going on the off lane as Nature's Prophet, and then Yao on the mid lane as Magnus. If we could easily figure out how this early into the draft of who is going to be playing what, you know that LGD Gaming is a very predictable and monotonous team.
You know what? That may be, but their execution is really, really good. The team fight, especially for LGD, it's kind of where their strength lies. I think they farm a bit less than they should, and they go for that 5-man style a little earlier than I'd like to see, and I think it makes them a little more farm deprived than they should be. But as a whole, their playstyle is really strong. It's difficult to play against. They don't give up towers easily. They defend towers. They split push pretty heavily until they start 5-manning like crazy.
Yeah, neither team actually give up too many towers. Look towards both DK and LG China to TP back and protect the tower. I think the only time that teams are going to give up tower is to go for tower trades, which is, I guess, not giving up tower for free. They never give up anything for free. And my question is, are we going to see some sort of more aggressive trialing? I don't think Alchemist and Nyx Assassin is a good combo together. But at the same time, you might see a Nyx Assassin going solo mid, and you might see a very aggressive CM Undying Alchemist trialing that DK loves to run.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see.
I actually really like this Weaver pickup by DK. The only hard disable right now in the game is Magnus's RP.
Okay.
And as long as you position yourself really well, keep split from your teammates, kind of wait invis along the sidelines, then it's going to be hard to get RP'd.
Yeah, also like the fact that they have Alchemist and Weaver against Magnus. Acid Spray, Swarm, Sakuchi, all of these spells are somewhat annoying for Magnus to blink in and find that really, really good RP. LG is going to add Rubik to their lineup, which they had really big trouble playing against in the past. When they're trying to get RP, they always get the RP stolen. For whatever reason, their Magnus player can't Shockwave or Skewer in time. But they have Rubik on their side now, and any important spell that he could be stealing.
The invis from Weaver, the Sakuchi,
yeah,
is really easy to steal, and it's fantastic on a hero like Rubik, especially since I think the only hero that will go invisible this game is Nature's Prophet, and it's not exactly Rubik that you want to blow the dust on. So if Rubik's able to steal that, the really nice thing about stealing the Sakuchi is you essentially have a free Blink Dagger where you can invis through and then lift them instantly before they can do anything. On top of that, Rubik is really decent against Weaver because you have an instant initiation.
Yes.
If you have a stun like Shadow Demons, which isn't really a stun to disrupt, it doesn't do anything against Weaver because it'll just invis out. But with Rubik, you can't really avoid it, right? No matter what, once the lift hits, it's going to go up.
Right, it's like you said, the only stun they have so far is Magnus, and adding Rubik on top of that gives you a very guaranteed one. Nature's Prophet Sprout isn't true stun, but it might annoy Weaver a tiny bit. What about Chen? How does this add to what we see so far? Seems like Nyx Assassin isn't going to be that support in lane, because if you have Chen in jungle and a Nyx Assassin supporting Alchemist, that doesn't seem to be like a recipe for success.
Well, the Chen gives them a little more versatility, and if they don't think LGD is going to offensive tri-lane, then what it really does for them is it allows them to be a little more greedy with their levels, while Chen can, stack and stuff like that. If Nyx isn't going mid, or if he's playing a support, or they pick a greedy support on DK, then they'll have two really farm supports. On top of that, they don't really have a lot of mid-game presence, but if they have a hero like Chen who can pick up a creep or two, which kind of act as mini heroes early on in the game, then it gives them a little more teamfight presence early. Because before, they can't really take a fight against things like RP, Visage, Rubik, but now they can.
So what you're saying is, if Nature's Prophet goes up on a long lane for LG China, then DK could exploit the hell out of it, because Alchemist should be able to 1v1 fairly easily against Nature's Prophet. You have Nyx Assassin pulling, you have Chen jungling, and they get a ton of experience. But it seems like LG Gaming, smart to that, they say, we're not going to give you that, we're going to go straight up offensive trialing against you with Gyrocopter, Visage, and Rubik. A ton of range in this particular tri lane, and if whoever gets caught out with the Soul Assumption or Lift probably will just die to the Gyrocopter. And now suddenly you're looking at Nyx Assassin perhaps being forced to go mid. You got to pick a support that goes well with Alchemist, and Chen really can't help out until like minute 1 after he finds a really good creep in the jungle.
I don't actually know what DK is going to pick here. I'd like to see something somewhat defensive. I think LGD has a pretty strong pushing lineup and teamfight lineup, just with Nature's Prophet, RP, things of that nature. So I'd like to see DK pick any sort of hero that can creep clear a little better.
Okay.
What will really stop a push more than anything is the ability to instantly clear creep waves, which is what LGD has and DK doesn't really have.
Yeah, they have things like Acid Spray and perhaps Swarm and Impale. These are not exactly spells that blow up a creep wave. If you could get it off from one particular hero, and it has to be a support now, right?
Yeah.
What would it be? Alina, maybe? Jakiro?
Either of those would be decent. And this is actually assuming that we think the Nyx is going to go mid.
Right.
Which I think the Chinese teams actually prefer to do, rather than kind of starving them for levels and all that. But we shall see. As DK, 44 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
I'd like to see... I don't know. They also don't really have anything aside from if Alchemist goes Abyssal to break that BKB from the gyro, which is inevitable. And you need something to lock him down at some point.
Right. I mean, we're kind of assuming that Alchemist is your one-row position. What about Alchemist going mid? And then you have Nyx Assassin supporting a range carry. That's definitely a possibility as well.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's what IG does a lot, where Ferrari goes for that.
Oh, wow. What the hell is this about? So I'm expecting Alchemist going solo mid, And now Burning gets supported by Nyx Assassin against the enemy offensive tri lane. That's a lane that you are hard-pressed to find any kills. And then you have a Bounty Hunter on the other lane in a 1v1 matchup against Xiao 8's Nature's Prophet. That's not too bad if you get all the lanes match up like the way that you do want to match up. So it comes down to scouting. It comes down to how LG Gaming thinks DK is going to lane. I really like this draft. It's quite strategic. It's kind of back and forth. Who do you favor out of the draft? Who do you think have better lanes?
I actually kind of think LGD's is a little more fluid, and their lineup just kind of feels a little less clunky. But at the same time, damage-wise, they're a little reliant on the gyrocopter. But we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to go offensive tri-lane, or at least walking as a team to go into the enemy jungle and perhaps place a couple wards. Let's quickly introduce a player here. We're going to have Yao playing the solo mid Magnus. Got even pull a pair of tangos. Going to be rushing for the quick bottle. DD on that support Rubik. DDC on the Visage. Sylar going to be playing that offensive tri-lane gyrocopter, it seems. And Xiaowei, of course, most likely on the safe lane Nature's Prophet. He is sending Treants and scouting with the rest of his team.
Yeah, and for LGD, we have... Oh, wait, no, you just did that.
Yes.
I was like, wait a second. Okay, so for DK, we have Burning playing the Weaver, a hero actually don't see him on quite often. Super going to be playing the Alchemist, QQQ on that Chen, ROTK going to be playing that Bounty Hunter, and MMY playing that Nyx.
It's going to be hard for ROTK to feed Headlong because he doesn't have that global teleport spell, but with ROTK, I'm sure he'll find some way. He probably may be playing a lot more aggressive with things like Trakanot. And I think DK's trying to dodge. They have pretty good lanes in terms of surviving. Like ROTK could just go up top like in a 1v1 situation. Super is going to have 1v1 up against Yao in the mid. And yeah, it's like as expected. DK is going to have these fairly decent lanes that matches up okay against LGD. And is Chen going offensive as well? No, Chen is definitely defensive.
Yeah. So the thing, though, about DK's lineup that's really nice is they have a really pretty decently mobile team with Nyx, Bounty Hunter, Weaver. That's a lot of heroes that you have to lock down in a team fight.
Right.
So I think if DK can actually get an early good start, and that's why they picked that Chen and putting the Alchemist mid, then you have a lot more options. You know, you have a Weaver that can flit in and out of fights. It makes it really difficult for him to get locked down. You have a Bounty Hunter that you have to worry about at the same time. And you have an Alchemist, of course, that's pretty tanky, has a lot of teamfight presence.
Right, just because the way that their hero plays, Alchemist stays in the front, Chen stays in the back, and your Bounty Hunter comes in from the left and right. That RP is also not going to find too many at one time. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on Yao to land a very good RP. Seems like DD has to secure himself in the invisibility room, but it will just time out without anything happening too much. Is he going to try to harass QQQ in the jungle a bit? He really can't. So the offensive tri lane will be 3 strong on the bot. Look at the amount of Sentry and Observer they have kind of forced out on the bot lane, trying to block off that jungle. And they're not going to get too much done here on the bot lane. I really think that maybe they should start rotating these heroes to other sides of the map. Or do you think they're going to just stay here and just farm for 3-4 minutes?
They might just stay here, try to get Sylar a bit ahead, because against a Weaver, they can't really kill him. The only person they can kill is MMY playing the Nyx, but as long as MMY just kind of sits back, he should be fine.
Yeah, and he's going to have his probably the Spike Carapace up at level 2 as well. Or maybe start Mountain Burning. We'll see exactly what he thinks he'll need. Meanwhile, we do see a smoke up top going by QQQ with a Centaur creep first. They're really going for a long way here. And ROTK, in between Janata as well as the Centaur hit, maybe they'll kill Xiaowei. I think they still need the Shuriken toss to make sure they get the kill, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a little more difficult here. And ROTK getting pushed back by these creeps and the smoke, it does still have some time to it, but he's got to start moving up now. And he's going to go invisible and...
Uh-oh. Here we go. The Centaur's going to get a stomp off. I really don't think ROTK is going to get... Oh, nice body blocking coming out as well. And we are going to get the hit. He's going to try to TP out immediately. There would not be any Shuriken toss. Good rotation here by Xiaowei. Also, by the way, he was using his Treants to actually get a pull off. Pretty nice micro, trying to deny a couple creeps. And because it was a wolf camp, he is going to deny a couple creeps here.
The thing that sucks for ROTK too is that while he went up for that creep, or for that gank, he missed out on a bunch of creeps.
Yeah.
What you want as an offlaner is for the creeps to push to your tower, and that actually happened for him, but he kind of had to just neglect them and go for the kill, which they were unable to do.
So that was like a lot of investment, right? You talked about RTK missing a couple creeps, QQQ not jungling, smoke all the way from bot to top, and all the meanwhile, it was a 2v3 situation on the bot lane. So LGD having pretty good advantage of the map. You can see a Sylar 13 CS despite going offensive tri-lane. Back mid is going to be 14-4 here in favor of Yao. Super getting, well, I don't want to say completely outlasted it, but I personally value Deny quite a bit on the mid lane. And Yao's definitely getting the better exchange there.
Yes, and at bottom, although Burning can't die, At the same time, you can 3-man deny,
Right.
and he's not getting a lot of CS, whereas Sylar is 15-3. And I think LGD is comfortable with this trade right now. Top isn't exactly losing. I mean, ROTK is only at 7-3 compared to Xiao 8's 12 CS he's got, and QQQ is actually still only level 1 right now. And the worst thing about this too is now that QQQ has used the smoke at top, they know he's at top, so they don't have to be worried at all at bottom, and they can kind of just play up with impunity.
Yeah, and look at Xiao 8. He's even harassing some of the creeps that QQ's got, at least trying to kill one of these centaurs, forcing him away. So it's like you said, the rotation from DK just didn't really work out. In fact, it feels like they have shot themselves in the foot. And now DK can't really play aggressive anymore. I really don't know what they're doing. QQ now rotates all the way back on the bot lane. And if we want to check out on the experience graph, definitely in favor of LGD. They're farming better, they're denying better, and Chen is just not having that early game farm. Back in the middle lane here, Super is going to drop his stun under that acid spray. That should do a ton of damage here. Wow, Yao taking a big deal of damage, but he will have the bottle coming through.
Yeah, and Super actually just trying to check the rune, sees that it's not top, and DD kind of just rotating around the map. He's actually level 2, which isn't too high, and level 3 on Gyrocopter, level 3 on Visage, but Burning and MMY aren't actually getting any farm. Who actually had the sentries? Because I think at this point they should have just tried to get the pull going.
Well, I think maybe Chen had the sentry? Yeah, he had one available. And
I think he should have actually dropped this off first for MMY, but that's
yeah.
a really good ward spot as well, because most people place the sentry behind these trees,
Dire's top tower
like
is
right
under
there.
attack.
over here.
But it makes it so it's a little more difficult to find that one.
Well, LGD still doing fairly decent on this offensive round. So like first play actually happened up top here with Xiao 8 TPing in, and of course, not even RP being used, just kind of chasing Alchemist out of the lane. Sorry for missing that one, but now with kind of as an extension of what we expected, LGD just doing quite well in every single lane. Facebook gets picked up on Sylar as well, and that's really an issue, because he now, I think even with the 2 support rotating off the lane, he could solo-handedly zone burning 1v1.
Solo-handedly?
So single-handedly. Man, English is sometimes hard.
It's always hard, man.
It's always hard for me.
I've said some pretty stupid things in the past as well, so...
That makes me feel so much better, but
Doesn't
thanks,
it?
Blitz, yeah.
So MMY actually opting to save his skill point. So he's still level 2. Can go for the mana burn or the spike carapace. I actually really like this a lot. Just in case, maybe if they do get any sort of offense going.
You have that nuke going.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If they're going
You've got
onto
the mana
you,
burn.
yeah, you need that spike. But
The thing though is, I mean, how does Super really gank for you at bottom? It's not like a mag. I mean, that's one of DK's really big issues. They don't really have a ton of initiate on their team.
right.
I mean, I guess they don't really have. I guess Super is kind of their best option because he's really tanky. So you just kind of dive in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, I mean, he's not going to be tanky enough because he's got 0 armor. Actually going to jack that rune.
Fairly nicely done here. Takes out invis. Why is the floor shaking? Are you shaking?
What?
Okay.
I'm not shaking.
Is your leg shaking?
No.
Are we having an earthquake?
We're having an earthquake. No, my
Holy
leg's
shit.
shaking.
Alright, okay. I think the only type of offense that comes out from DK is ROTK hitting level 6 and then teleporting bots to actually set up an offense. But I think the Radiant is completely prepared for that. They have a Sentry over here, and as long as he doesn't, well, as long as ROTK runs through that path, which is a common path to go through, then they should be ready. But ROTK is just actually pressuring up top, preventing from Xiao 8 to joining these team fights. Xiao 8 also with Wrath of Nature back up. Maybe actually, in fact,
Oh,
making
man,
go ROTK
ROTK.
gets sprouted under tower, and I do believe the body block, or at least attempt to body block.
You can't do it though with Moonwalk on.
Yeah, unfortunate. But here comes QQQ. ROTK quite low. He's gonna bottle and south right back up. I think they're gonna go for a kill attempt, and then with the centaur hitting top, should be able to do it quite easily.
Yeah, and as long as ROTK doesn't kind of give this away, they could do this. And he's actually going to go invisible, and that should be Xiao 8's signal to back because he
Yeah.
knows the QQQ is still up here at top. I mean, if QQQ was at bottom, he would have gone on bottom by this point.
Right.
So actually, just kind of forcing this game.
He's seen the centaur as well.
Yeah,
now,
and that's
so.
just a little bit sloppy. And we talked about QQQ playing that Chen. He's not really being able to be greedy this game. Trying to force a lot at top, but not being too successful here. And that's just really good map awareness by Xiao 8.
Do you maybe think that's almost even better for him just to say, you know, fuck it, AFK farm to level 6, get something going for my team through my levels? Because it seems like the spending on top lane, he's forcing Xiao 8 off the creep wave once in a while, but he's just not getting enough as a return. We see a tango through, a sentry down, and they just want to burst him down. There's no ultimate away on burning yet. Where's the soul assumption? Just don't have to side. The Wrath of Nature came. a little bit too slow as well. LG Gaming dropping the ball a little bit on coordination, but that one was very, very tough. Super is coming as well. He's popping his ultimate and phasing in. He will see DD, and the stun will fly. Dude, look at the damage output. DD's going to go down, and it's Burning Weaver that picks up the kill. In fact, they want a little bit more here as DDC, and here comes Yao as well. He does have RP. Doesn't want to skewer in, though. Very, very surprised.
Yeah. And actually, ever since the nerf, the mag does so little damage with reverse polarity.
Yeah.
It actually only does 50 damage, but a tower's going to be taking a top by Xiao 8. Not a whole lot ROTK could do there. And ROTK, I think he should actually start rotating a little bit more here.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he would have TP immediately after hit 6, especially taking advantage of the fact that you do have Impale, Mono Burn, Sakuchi, Swarm. Like, I think you could at least get 1 kill, maybe even 2. But what's your thought about the ROTK matchup versus Xiao 8? Doesn't Nature's Prophet have a tough time against the Bounty Hunter? It seems like Bounty Hunter is really losing the lane flat out.
It's hard to kind of trade because Janata's so effective, and also because ROTK is going to get an item like Bottle. So he's just going to have a little more HP and mana, but at the same time, you have Treants to try to just kind of right-click in at bottom right now. 2 are going to go down. And these super rotations. They're super rotations.
And the rotation from Xiao A is just not good enough. The Wrath of Nature was not available, so just a raw TP from basically the range hero. I think perhaps because ROTK is losing lanes because of the build that he's gone for, right? He's matching Shuriken Toss, and this is the build that a lot of Chinese bounty hunter likes to go for. Instead of taking up levels of Janata, you basically say, my laning stage is a little bit weaker, but what I get out of it is better in terms of the gank. He's not ganking just yet, and I think he's losing the lane because he doesn't have Shuriken Toss. Or he does have Shuriken Toss level up.
Yeah, when you get Shuriken Toss, you actually just want to burst people down immediately when you go for ganks. And so it's a little surprising that it's taken him 10 minutes to get a TP into this game.
Yeah.
But Super has been doing an excellent job of rotating down, and actually, he's actually going to get rotated right now.
Uh-oh. Sprout's going to come on right now. We're going to see a telekinesis lift. RP even used. I'm not too sure what is that's even necessary. Burhelm in the low ground here. And a pretty easy kill being done, even though there was a 2-man stun. Fairly nicely set up by LG China. I'm going to have a Blink Dagger out fairly soon from Yao. So he's doing really good. 2-0-0, getting a first blood kill. And more importantly, once the Blink Dagger is up, I think they could actually gank a lot more effectively and push a lot more effectively.
Yep. And I'm actually really excited to see that kill on Super, just because he's going for that mech first build that we see players like Ferrari when they play mid Alchemist get so often. Just because you can get it so quickly, and you don't really need items if you're going to go mid Alchemist, because you kind of want to just become that team fight initiator.
Right.
And getting a mech on a team like DK is really effective just because LGD doesn't have too much burst ever since they nerfed that reverse polarity. And on top of that, who's going to get a mech on LGD's team anytime soon?
I mean, Xiao A might actually go for it after his...
I don't think so, though, because it would be so delayed at that point. I think at this point, he might just want to go for Shadowblade Hex.
Well, he's going Midas first, no matter what.
He's going to pick it up right now. And he's going for that Ultra Midas Gamer build, where he TP's back, and I assume he'll use his TP to a creep wave.
Yep. Well, he's TPing the bot lane right now, get a little bit of EXP, and Midasing a creep immediately. I generally don't see Xiao A going for mech. It's just not really part of his playstyle. So maybe they're going to just get up themselves like a 35-minute mech, which is, you know, not exactly the most ideal situation, but having a mech is always better than not having a mech.
Yeah, Burning has actually been shut down quite a bit this game with only 28 CS. Not doing too well, but he is 3-0 right now, and that can't really be discounted. Meanwhile, Sylar's got 51, or 59 actually, but he does have a death.
Yeah, I mean, Sylar's going to get a little bit of neutral kill. His team should be able to Ancient Stack for him a little bit more effectively, and of course he could farm that Ancient Stack better than Burning can. He's a hero that could actually pick up a ton of farm just using Flat Cannon and using his phase. Sometimes you even see players using Call Down to farm, but for now he's just freely CSing away, holding that Teleport Scroll. I wonder who's going to be first initiating these actions, right? We have random scrappy kills here and there. I feel like if you're picking up a DK Bounty Hunter, you should be the one that's actively seeking for kills, but ROTK is now jungling, of all things.
But at the same time, I think with a hero like Weaver and Alchemist and Bounty Hunter, you can skill into the late game, because it only takes one fight for 2 or 3 tracks to go off, and then it swings it completely in your favor. So I think DK, especially with Burning playing the Weaver, they aren't too afraid to go into the late game.
Right.
Just because they realize that LGD might not have the best lockdown, especially if Burning picks up an item like BKB. It's going to be so hard to get him down there.
Yeah, they might be forced to actually go into late game, right? Because Burning can't do too much right now. He doesn't have the best early game farm. Chen, who should be dominating early game, isn't. It looks like they're going to make it go on a mid lane for his stun. Not going to be used. Skewer backward is going to miss, and that should be it. In fact, we do have RTK coming in for one track. Did he get track stolen? No. Rubik's not even level 5 yet. And RTK thinking about kind of diving quite deep. I do believe there is Sentry available on DD. He's not dropping up behind the tier 2 tower yet. That's generally not a bad spot to drop it. He does drop it right now because that's where kind of Bounty Hunter decides to skirt in and out of team fight. And if you could find them there, you get a free kill.
Yeah, I really like that Sentry Ward, but ROTK should know it's there. But a large contingent of DK players going to be gathering around mid, and it doesn't look like they're actually going to back, but realizing it's not going to be too effective, especially with Magnus being able to shockwave. Like we said early on, it's really what kills the creep waves that's going to determine whether the push goes off or not.
I mean, sure, Centaur creeps are pretty tanky, and those will survive, but they're not going to tank the tower, or they really can't tank the tower. And the biggest winner of them all was Sylar, because he was able to split push up top, get a ton of pressure on that tower, get a ton of creeps. Burning, of course, still being somewhat lane controlled by Xiaoe on the bot lane. I just feel like LGD have heroes that are more mobile on the map. Sylar could have TP'd to tier 1 tower, defended it. They have, of course, Wrath of Nature, as well as Nature's Prophet's teleport available. And DK, they need to find some kills away from tower pushes, because I just don't think tower push is going to be good enough. DDC is going to eat a stun to the face. Oh my goodness. Acid Spray before that stun comes off. And look at how much damage they got. Was the track up on him before they got the kill?
Yeah, I believe it was.
So that was a 3 to 4 man track kill. Pretty nice. Couple of extra 200 extra gold or so.
Yeah. ROTK is actually going to spot out Sylar, but I think the person he actually needs to track is Yao.
Uh-oh. Looks like they're going to actually make a dive against Sylar. Really don't think that dive is going to work out. The sun's going to come down, and Super might actually stun himself in the face. Tier 1 tower still up right now. And who's going to make the rotation? Nobody just yet. Spell being stolen. That is Vendetta being stolen here. Really nice pick up on the Rubik. And the entire DK lineup is going to be on a full-on retreat. Yeah,
and actually Yao forced it back by Burning, who just kind of threw the bugs and right-clicked him a bunch. But Sylar actually going to take the role of Yao here and just kind of clear out the creep waves. And actually Super looks like he's going to stun himself right now.
Second time here. He's down to... Oh, actually, he did take out both the birds. Stun do actually physical damage. And, well, it does damage even around the enemies when you stun yourself. So that was pretty nice, I guess.
And Xiaoe realizes, and he actually is going to go for the mech, but Xiaoe realizes that not a whole lot's going to transpire mid, and he can come in a little bit late. So just waiting a little bit, and actually DD at 15 HP, gonna live. Is Burning going to try to throw the bugs? Yao just misses the skewer on ROTK, and Super looks like he's going to stun himself again, surrounding himself with treants.
Well, Super definitely has landed more stun on himself than his on on his enemies. Xiaoe split pushing on the bot lane. Might be a little bit trouble here. MMY, I don't think he actually could go for the solo kill, especially with 900 HP on Nature's Prophet. And he's going to, well, go back on the bot lane and get some experience. Bounty Hunter makes a TP here. What do you think is going to be his first item choice? Are we going to see drums? Are we going to see Vlads? Or are we going to see BKB?
I'd like to see something like a BKB just because your damage output comes from your bugs and your invis. So it's not too necessary to get a big damage item here.
Or you mean for Burning?
Yeah, for Burning. Who are you referring to?
I was referring to your Bounty Hunter, but it's like...
Yeah, the Bounty Hunter is going to go for drums.
Yeah, he does pick it up just about now. I personally like Vlad quite a bit in terms of helping your Chen as well as your Alchemist push, but it seems like pushing is not really an option. They tried a couple of times and it just doesn't work out. So, Rubik picks up a kill with the rest of his team on the bot lane, on the Nyx Assassin. Not exactly sure why MMY was there. He was going for the solo kill, wasn't able to pick it up. So we're going to see fight for the rune here. Yao does find himself RTK. RTK decides to track off and run away. And that's the person you want to track as well, just because Yao got a really quick blink dagger, so it's important that you keep track on to keep track of him. Was track. So Bounty Hunter definitely putting a good impression of NSA, making sure that
oh my god, you're really meta, Lumi.
Everybody getting wiretapped and whatnot. Super though is farming very well. I think his
actually DD at bottom here. I think he might actually get picked off as ROTK's gets
spotted
spotted down and the stun hits everything.
What? But are they gonna get in position here? ROTK is gonna get slowed down by DDC.
What a lift.
That lift.
Before he could even get Janata, able to get the lift off, hit the Chen, all of his creeps, stops him dead in his tracks, and that's an opportunity lost for DK as they lose the tower at bottom as well.
Yeah, I actually have not seen him steal Sakuchi just yet, which I think he should be able to. He should be
top,
actually thinking about picking up.
Actually, MMY going to be invisible here, but I think it's going to be difficult for them to get the kill, although Sylar is actually going to go in with this.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. With the Acid Spray being dropped down, the stun, of course, a ton more damage, and a couple more right clicks. Looks like Alchemist is even able to pick up the kill. Wrath of Nature flies in. Are they even going to make it go? Prophet thought about TPing, but decides against it with Alchemist turning on his ult.
Yeah, that was a really well-executed gank. I thought Sylar knew what was going on for a second, and it looked like he was going to back out, but then he thought to himself,
He just wanted more
I'll be
creeps.
okay.
RTK finds himself DDC right here. I do want to say that, for everything that's said about RTK, he's actually been all over the map, quite aggressively playing it. And
DDC in mid,
DDC.
ROTK,
Ooh,
once again, being able to do anything, and DD is actually going to steal the Shadow Walk. He's actually quite farm for a pure support Rubik. He's got Arcane Boots at 18 minutes.
Yeah, he's actually been able to pull quite a bit, although I'm not sure. Actually, did he last at a tower or something? They do have 2 tower destroy. He only has 8 CS. Maybe he got a
Yeah,
kill.
he got the tower at bottom.
Yeah, okay. So that definitely helps out there. He definitely wants to get track for his team. Meanwhile, it looks like the Visage Bird's been dying quite a bit. This is why I personally dislike Visage in a slow game like this. He really doesn't do too much. Xiao A, though, straight up TP out. RTK will have to cancel the TP, but they don't have. Do they have
Is
the
the net gonna
Yes.
go off?
Wow, what a play here. Mech is gonna play, and he just
Oh,
will
man.
TP out a 3rd time in a row, and that's gonna go.
3rd time's the charm, and he actually kind of misclicks on the map, I think.
MMY does get found here by DDC. Yao is going to be able to blink RP. Are they going to be going for that? Blink, skewer back. We're back into Centaur. It looks like Hand of God's going to go off. DDC's quite low. RP onto 2 and want to actually turn around against ROTK. DD steal spell, my friend. Steal something. Not even necessary because Shockwave and Skewer is going to be enough. Whereas the lift, there is no lift available. It looks like Chen's straight up TP out.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Arcane Boots pick up on DD. It makes you a lot more useful as a Rubik in teamfights, just to be able to actually use spells. Because if you don't have these Arcane Boots, then you effectively use your 2 spells, you steal a spell, use whatever spell that comes out of, and then you're kind of useless for the rest of the fight.
Right.
Also, you're able to kind of solo stop pushes by just being able to spam Fade Bolt. If you didn't have those Arcane Boots, you don't really have the luxury of doing that.
I mean, it's a very underestimated point. You talked about what he could do with teamfight. You could simply farm more and farm better. If you want to spend a Fable or 2 kind of blowing up creeps in the jungle or something like that, you definitely have the mana to do so right now. He is invised up with Shadow Walk, trying to maybe find a good spell to steal, maybe looking for Burning. Burning is on the mid lane though now, farming away. He is going to be going for BKB like you said.
Nice, I called it.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're the pro analysis
Hova.
here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Shadow Walk isn't that bad for DD to spell too, or to steal too, because you get the instant telekinesis lift out of the invis, and people don't see it coming.
Looks like we do have a centaur scoping out Roshan. Yeah, RTK's been really active all over the map, tracking basically every hero that he sees. Kind of a model game of a bounty hunter, if you want to watch. And there you go, finally, DD's been looking for it all day. Does find himself Sakuchi. And
Oh,
he
that's
should
so
be,
good for him.
yeah, almost unkillable at this point, unless he doesn't Sakuchi into tower. Looks like they're going to do a slow tier 1 tower siege, and you got to really... Oh, nice hero coming out from MMY. I'm somewhat surprised that they just gone for it without pushing heroes more off the map. Because you know people are going to be coming tonight. Ooh, what did he steal? Did he steal track? GG.
Okay, he's still track.
Yep.
That allows LGD to be really aggressive on the map. Also, there's a Weaver and a Bounty Hunter on the other team, so that's just going to be super effective.
Yeah, you got to be very careful when you're tracking a Rubik, and you got to press W immediately. Hopefully that he doesn't spell steal. Also, just kind of like an advanced tactic, if you if you track Rubik when he's facing against or away from you, that's probably the best time to do it, because the time that he takes to turn around and spell steal from you, generally you could get off your W in time.
Wow, Lumi, you're so intelligent.
Yo, I try sometimes.
And Bounty Hunter actually, ROTK not being able to do a whole lot. He's only 1-1-1 right now, but he's getting decent farm. The one thing that kind of sucks, if Bounty Hunters just kind of pure try to gank the entire time, and they don't have any items, then you're just as useless.
Yep.
But ROTK managing to get farm here and there. He does have drums, he does have a bottle, he does have a magic wand, but just not able to get a whole lot going for his team in general.
Yeah, meanwhile, we do have a Roshan attempt going on. Glyph is going to get popped out on the mid lane. That's going to force Burning off the tower for at least a tiny bit. Roshan's really low, down to about half HP, but they just don't have enough time to bring him down. Tower goes down. Now they have a little bit more room to work with, or less room to work with, but a little bit more time to go into the pit.
Yeah,
And of
DK
course,
has to know this is actually going to come.
Burning gets lifted, he's forced to pop that BKB, but if you actually survive this 10-second BKB, Burning can't really take a team fight now, at least not as aggressively anymore. And of course, he's going to get retracked up. DD just being so damn effective with his support Rubik.
Yeah, all it takes is one sentry in the lane, and then you'll always get the track off no matter what.
Right.
But DD being a nuisance, ROTK kind of just scoping this out. I don't actually know why he's here.
Yeah, he's also going to get tracked up.
Yeah, that was a little... I mean, he's not going to be able to stop this by himself.
I think he wants to get some track
And he's
off.
actually going to get lifted, and if he actually dies here...
Oh my god, he is going to die. RP being used, but I mean, RP for a solo kill after
And
he
the
gets
heal was used as well. I don't actually know what he was doing there. He can't stop the Roshan. It's not like he's going to steal it. That
I think
actually
he
just
was-
looked like a suicide.
I think he just want to track up some people, but that's just not a good position to be in, especially with the lift available. That instance then that we talked about being such a big deal. Super, you want to get a kill on DD. If you get the kill on him, you take it back to track, and they do. Very nicely done.
But at the same time, they're able to get the track off and get the kill. I just don't think that it was necessary for him to be here because it costs you your Hand of God as well, and that's not a low cooldown ultimate. It's got 100 seconds left on it. So, a little bit of a mistake, but they do get the rebuttal kill on the Rubik.
Yeah, let's check out how we're doing in terms of gold. LGD, despite taking down Roshan as well as all of the tier 1 towers, only leading by 1,000 gold. Of course, Crack earning DK a little bit of extra here and there. Meanwhile, item-wise, anything big that you see, we do see a Shadow Blade from Super, so going for even more damage and utility. And aside from that, nothing too special to talk about. DD going for a 4-staff, and I do believe that Xiao A is going to be going for some sort of a big DPS item. Or
Yep.
just a Hex, yeah.
He's going to go for the Hex, and I think he absolutely needs this. Especially if you're able to kind of TP in and Hex Burning to start the fights and maybe burst him down with the RP. Get all your spells off on him. Then you've got a really effective team fight going, but BKB going to be picked up soon by Yao. Which, I mean, at this point, what else are you going to get to really up your team fight effectiveness? It makes it so that no one can really initiate on you. You BKB, and you're able to get all your spells off.
Yeah, he's going to be king until the Basher and Abysso comes up on Super, which I imagine won't be up for quite a bit. Super, or excuse me, Burning picks up a Vid Booster on top of Weaver. What do you think is the time to start picking up some damage? Do you think he should have gone straight MKB then? Or do you like the extra Vid Booster just for the safety?
I like the survivability, because the BKB isn't enough. If they're able to get all their spells off on you, like if the Rubik is able to steal your Sakuchi and get the lift off preemptively, then you can get bursted down. But once you have 1500 HP, then you should be able to time-lapse BKB. And so I kind of like this decision.
Yeah, that's generally the build that most Chinese players go for when they want to play a little bit more survivably based. Meanwhile, Silo on the bot lane has his own BKB and also 2300 gold in the bank. I don't think he needs to get any survivability items. His survivability item is going to come in the form of things like Butterfly, Satanic a little bit later on. But for now, let's see what item he's going to be going for. A very, very slow farming-oriented game for both teams, and you got to favor the team that has Revo's Greed, right? It did come from your solo mid, so it wasn't really kicking online. And of course, he's gone for things like Utility, Mech, Shadow Blade, but eventually he's going to start getting some big items. Super is getting some free farm. Or do you favor the team that has the Nature's Prophet, that gives you better split push, that has the Flat Cannon, Gyrocopter?
I mean, Flat Cannon's always going to be super useful, and it's going to mean that you get the most damage out of any carry. But at the same time, Sylar going for the BKB first doesn't have a whole lot of damage yet, and there are 3 Invis heroes on DK, meaning you've got that surprise factor. You've actually got 4, with Super picking up a Shadow Blade right now, but Super does have a lot of golds. He's got 4,300 gold, and an Alchemist is just going to flat out outfarm you. So I think LGD right now, take the fights. You have the Aegis, you have a BKB. There's no damage item out on Burning yet, so if he tries to split push, he won't do it in time.
Yeah, he's definitely trying up top, but that tier 2 just not going down nearly the same rate as the tier 2 that was going down the bot lane. We talked about this, both teams like to defend their towers or at least go for tower trades. Sylar's going to get the better end as he TP's back and defends their tower. QQQ does have a gem for themselves as well, so they're going to be looking to actively deward. If you look at what both teams buying item-wise, they're just going for the late game items. Burning, of course, going for the Vid Booster just to be safe. Point Booster on QQQ, he wants that Axe. And yeah, both teams, massive late game item choice. A Scythe of Vice on the Xiao 8. DDC going back for a Medallion just for a little bit of value, and then next Roshan. I think both teams is expected to farm a little bit, go for a couple of pick-off But I agree with you. I think LGD needs to start saving tier 2s, for example.
Yeah, they definitely have the superior team fight right now. But at the same time, Super are going to continue to just farm. I think at this rate, they're content to just kind of trade farm, especially since Burning has been left alone for the most part this game now. And Super, he's picked up a plate mail. Is he going to go for... Does he have... Okay, he's going to go for an Assault Kura, so that's going to be his damage item. It's actually going to help out Burning a lot, too. The negative armor that the Swarm gives you is really useful. And on top of that, it makes Super super tanky.
That one got all, like, really quick.
I have to make them, man. That's my job as a co-commentator, to
I
make as
see.
many puns as possible.
Okay, I'll put that in my notebook the next time I'm the co-caster here.
I like that dead-in-the-eye laugh, though, that we do when I make them.
Oh man, it's too late. It's too late for those jokes here. Actually, coming up next after this best of 3 series between DK versus LGD, we do have a 1v1. The finals 1v1, right? Do you know who that's between?
It's, yeah, CTY and FY. So 2 Vici gaming players. A support, actually, from Vici
From
as
Vici
well.
Gaming.
So, judging by the way that the games went yesterday, expect a lot of passive games.
So you see MNY getting already sived up. This is such an early side advice coming from Xiaoe, who, you know, granted had pretty good early game. And ROTK, or no, excuse me, Nyx Assassin gets picked off as RT comes in with a track. Now with the global TP, I think that really, global TP and a side advice, that really changes how this game is meant to be played, right? Because LGD could now barreling down on the mid lane with their side advice, or if they decide to play passively, they could be going for pickoffs after pickoffs.
Yeah, and with this really early hex, it means that you can lock down heroes like Super. You can get pickoffs for free, and that means that you can actually push.
And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Trian's already summoned on the front line. You can see Yao staying relatively far back, looking for that RP. Scouting being done by Xiaoe. Very nicely done. And it goes back to what you said. The only way you stop a push is to knock down all the creeps at once. And they just don't have that type of creep clearing ability. They do Sprout against DD, and D's trapped inside. QQQ dropping really low. Why is he on the front line? He dies. The gem is on the ground. They can focus on Psylocke, but he's got the Aegis. No, not anymore. Oh my goodness. But here comes a Blink RP. Yao delivers big time. Burning is going to be able to time lapse back, but not getting too much HP back. The Hex up on RTK. RTK is also dead. Yao just straight up TP back out. MMY man fight. It looks like DD's going to go down. That was really an awkward team fight, and they pushed without the Aegis, and Gyrocopter got focused, and it's somewhat surprisingly DK wins that team fight.
Yeah, and actually, that's just because Sylar wasn't able to get the BKB off. If the BKB was able to go off, that's a completely different fight, especially since Burning was so low. But as we said, the only damage coming out of LGD right now is the Gyrocopter. With him dead, Burning's going to get a free time of it. And actually, he's going to pick up a Demon Edge right now. I think he's going to opt to go for NKB. Just going to go for that counter on that Butterfly. I mean, not being able to get that BKB off is so huge. And because of the Assault Curse, they're going to be able to take this T2 really quickly. And actually, is DD going to die as well? The stun's going to fly. Burning's going to go for the right click with the DD, and that's a free kill. And Yao, with no RP, is just going to kind of be in the back.
Oh, Blink Skewer backward right now. RP not necessary. It looks like the heals even use on RTK.
How are you going to get out? Is DD going to be able to lift him?
Yeah, they do, and they are going to get the kill. They are going to lose a tier 2 out of that.
And that's a gem.
Yeah, that's pretty. I think he also died in the team fight and bought back for it. So I think RTK playing ultra aggressive, but getting skewered backwards is not something you can count on. So a little bit sad for him. But for the most part, I do believe that DK is right back in this game. If you look at the go chart, we're back completely at 0. It goes back to what you said. You just need to have that one fight where you get it off like 3 or 4 track kill, and suddenly the game is right back in your favor.
Yeah, and actually, Super really tanky now. I mean, in the last team fight, he was actually untouched for the most part. And Burning, with that Wisp booster, was just able to get out of there just in time. And he's actually picked up his big damage item in the MKB. And now Super's actually becoming just as much of a threat with 2 he's got 3k gold. I assume he's going to go for a BKB now. So how do you kill both of those heroes now?
I don't think you can. I think you got to just focus on the squishier supports. QQQ, he shouldn't be up that front. He was actually in front of the tier 2 tower as he got picked off. So maybe a little bit of missed micro. ROTK, Nyx Assassin, these are going to be more of the elusive, hard to kill heroes. Burning, not going to get caught by a very kind of obvious smoke gank, as many heroes were missing off the map. Yeah, I'm somewhat concerned for LGD China now. Like you said, everybody on DK side are fairly hard to gank and hard to kill. They do have the Scythe of Ice, though. They do have the RP, so that's their true way to really pick off people before they activate their BKB.
Yeah. And actually, when you do have a BKB, Hex is always still useful, just because you can get the instant initiation off. But LGD looking a little bit shaky now, especially since they've been kind of running around as 5 and not accomplishing weight a lot.
Yeah, they're not bringing down towers. The one time they got a Hex skill and push, they got completely decimated under the tier 2. I also am not too sure whether I like Sylar's item choice. Eagle Song looked okay about 5 minutes ago when he had the Aegis, but he knew the Aegis was timing out. He also knew that Burning had a ton of gold, and MKB is generally one of the more common item choices. I personally would have gone for Helm there just to get the 5 extra armor against the Acid Spray, the Swarm, and the Assault. I think it's very necessary. And having BKB and Helm will help you lifesteal. I guess the only concern is that you do lack damage, especially when Empower getting taken off. So it does make sense that he wants to go Butterfly, but the Butterfly will not give him the evasion for survivability.
Yeah, definitely. And Super actually has become just as much of a carry as Burning is, as I said. I mean, you have to knock him down. And ROTK finally getting that Bounty Hunter item you needed, a BKB.
Yeah.
That's the item that's going to allow you to kind of be in the front lines. And ROTK can kind of play the ROTK style now. The great thing about BKB on Bounty Hunter is you don't have a lot of HP, but once you have Magic and Vulnerability, you've got 13 armor on him. Like, the base armor on this hero is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you've got the Assault Cuirass, so it's really difficult for him to die once the BKB gets popped off. That's actually one of the main reasons why I like to see Vlad's and a BKB on a hero like Bounty Hunter, because the BKB makes you essentially invulnerable. You have so much armor, and you've got a BKB. Dual threat, baby.
Speaking of Vlad's and AC, we've seen. Oh my goodness, Xiaoi's gonna get found. I have no idea how MOI discovered it. He attacks him. It's like, oh wait, I don't have enough damage. Alright, I'll go back out. But
He's
cancel
like,
the
there's
TP.
no way this is gonna happen.
The tower is quite low. Tower's gonna get denied though. Tree unfortunately unable to get the last hit. Meanwhile though, Xiaoi says, alright, I saw a couple of TPs from Burning up top. Gonna go straight into the Roshan pit. They do have the Medallion Courage, and you can see the immediate rotation from DK as well as MMI. The question is, are they gonna make it there in time? Yes, they will. Centaur comes in to check things out and delay things a little bit further. Good awareness here coming out from DK. Well, they will prevent the Roshan Roshan attempt, at least for now.
Yep, and ROTK, please.
My god.
Don't die again. Just
No RTA gave up track.
Oh, that's a thing too, but it'd be kind of silly if he walked forward, got tracked, and then got hexed.
Well,
That would
I could foresee that happening, as Rubik now has Force Staff as well, so you could get track, Force lifted. That would be pretty ugly. Now Butterfly is finished on Sylar. He definitely should go for Helm after this. He definitely have enough damage to warrant the extra survivability, and also enough damage to warrant that lifesteal. So I'm looking to him getting that particular item. QQQ is, I guess, suiciding his creeps away for scouting purposes. Cool.
Yep, and Super actually gonna they're gonna collapse on this Rosh pit just in case. But DK's in a slightly better position because they actually have an objective to go for in this tower.
Yep.
When you don't really have anything to do except mill around the Rosh pit,
You're
I mean,
wasting
being
time.
able to do this, but ROTK, he is spotted. I mean, they have a gem.
And look at Burning, he's just right on top, then gets Force Staff on the low ground, gets lifted. Do you RP him? That's the question. RP does fly down
But a
here. They do have
BKB,
flag.
the clutch BKB, he's going to be able to time-lapse this. And now he's got full HP. You don't have RP. You don't have BKB on Sylar. What do you do?
Uh-oh, Xiaowei pops BKB as well. He gets impaled and looks like they're chasing everybody around. But DDC quite quickly as he darts left and right. Thanks to the Grave Chill, Sun will lock him in place. There's Cypher Vice still available. Skewers him to the wall. No stop. Well, that was a little bit awkward. Where the hell is the Cypher Vice? He looks like he already used it.
He's going to go off on MMY, actually. And DD going to get Shuriken toss, but he's just going to run back. And
Oh my
MMY gets
God.
saved. And I think Xiaowei is going to take the fall. But Burning does go down. And so this fight kind of just evens out for LGD, but ROTK able to get the tracks off, and that's going to make the big difference here.
Yeah, meanwhile, back on the top lane here, you do see Burning TPing back to defend the creep wave from pushing right back in. But how clutch was that BKB activation? In fact, the BKB usage and the purchase coming out from all three of these heroes. DK winning a very, very important team fight, taking out Xiaowei as one of the major core. Now getting him in position to actually challenge this Roshan.
But
He's
ROTK
first.
is kind of low, and it looks like Xiaowei realizes that it's going to be a little more difficult for them to fight. I don't think they have RP yet, so opting to kind of just split push this for now. Man, that team fight, Burning's the timing on that, he had half a second to get that BKB off, but it was also Yao's indecision. We kind of had the same fight, right? Do you BKB, or do you go for the RP here? but not enough damage going off on Burning. I think they would have killed him, though, if he wasn't able to get that BKB
Oh,
off.
ROTK walks up on high ground, gets tracked up, and ROTK
Gonna fall.
That's what ROTK does best here. And it looks like LG thinking about going up. Oh
Super,
my
gonna
goodness.
pop that stun.
Ooh.
Actually, just gonna stun himself.
He has
And
BKB.
Does this mean you fight, though?
No, he's got the send back here. And if you're LGD, I don't think you chase. You just go straight up. No, they want to chase. They see QQQ. Lift falling back, but MNY's defending. That's a 2-man RP on the 2 support. Calldown's going to fly through as well. You're definitely going to go back for the Roshan right now because there's no way that the Radiant team would take this fight.
Yeah, and DK actually being a little greedy with that. I mean, or LGD able to get picked up or get some pickoffs there, especially since DD was able to get the lift. And just being able, trying to turn around and kill DD, that was the wrong idea. And Sylar's gonna, okay, they all chat the Roche time.
I don't think that was meant to be, but
it helps everyone.
yeah, it helps. It does help. I mean, at this professional, this high level, I don't
Of course, everyone's got, you know,
Yeah.
they're gonna know the time. It's just kind of one of those.
miss type moment. But,
At least I know now. I was always thinking
Alright.
like, do they type it out? But they definitely do. And Sylar now able to get an Aegis on him. I'd like to see a little more damage though. An MKB would be useful at this point. I mean, you need something to kill Burning while he's RP'd.
yeah, I suggested a helm, but that definitely does not give you a ton of damage. So let's see if Sylar is gonna go back for the MKB. Just generally one of the more de facto item of choice here. Xiaowei, of course, is gonna be going for MKB himself. So any butterfly attempt is not gonna be.
I like that though. I really like that decision to kind of get more damage on all your 4 heroes. Just because Xiao 8 up to this point has been building utility, and you need some damage at this point just to deal with Burning.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't really need to kind of go even more utility. I mean Yao's been doing such a good job in terms of stunning people. Of course, Rubik's doing a good job in terms of initiating for them. So yeah, all he really needs to do is stay back. Hopefully, he doesn't get picked off, and just do the deeps. And well, we'll see how it goes. Again, we're gonna see some sort of more passive farming stage. Let's check out how we're doing in terms of item. Alchemist up to 2,600 gold. What did he was forced to buy back in the previous team fight or so?
The Alchemist, no, but the Weaver was.
Okay.
So
It feels
Burning,
like his item purchase has been, or progression has been slowed down.
I mean, that's because they've been fighting around the Rosh pit, but a full MKB
JK.
picked up as soon as you say that.
Yeah.
And
I was
Burning,
like, he didn't have much gold left.
yeah, Burning's not exactly the scary threat at this point. As Super, it's become an MKB fest.
Well, everybody and their mother has MKB. Sakuji's gonna get stolen here.
It's a
by-
zoo. God, I can't do this right now. I'm so tired. But DD has Sakuchi again, and that's the spell you want to steal every time, unless you can get the track off.
Right.
I mean, there's no real spell that's kind of going to be better for your team unless you can steal Hand of God. I guess
Personally,
that would
like
be better.
myself some Vendetta as well. That's pretty decent.
Vendetta's okay, but you don't really need it at this point, and Vendetta requires you to be a little closer than you'd like.
RTK gonna cancel our TP no or not? Again, and we're gonna see the siege coming out from LGD. What I do like about LGD is that they recognize they're ahead at this stage of the game with the Aegis, and now helm up on Sylar. So yeah, I think we might see a full high ground Rax attempt, or at least I think they should.
Maybe, especially since they have the Aegis, and I don't actually know if they're going to be able to fight without Aegis, but DD looks like he's just kind of scouting out. He's invisible. Xiaoyi actually going to TP out. No high ground attempt being taken here, and I think DK, it was the right decision to give up that T2. It doesn't mean a whole lot for your team. I mean, the gold, it's negligible at this point, right? The tower gold, I mean, tower gold, especially early, is what's going to help you the most. At this point, towers are more of a positional thing.
Right.
If you want to go for a Roshan and people are out of position, it's a lot harder to get there because you have no T2s. And you're able to ward up a little further. But as far as the actual gold advantage goes, DK was able to farm out a bunch of heroes while they were taking that tower. So not the biggest deal. And I think at the same time, DK wants to wait out that Aegis. LGD, it's not 100% clear even with the Aegis if they'd win the fight. But without it, I think they would definitely lose. And Super up here at top, he's got to be careful. Scouts out the entire team, not able to get the BKB off.
Jesus.
Gets Hex, and I think this is actually going to be the end of him.
I'm very surprised that Sylar popped his BKB, and well, call down not exactly a high priority spell, but I think without this BKB, maybe They have to be somewhat careful with this push. Swarm gonna come out here, and looks like BKB's gonna be forced out from Burning. Xiaowei down to half HP, but RP's gonna get used. Shockwave, skewer backward. There was a send back on Burning. Burning should be fine, but he time lapse and then gets sent back home. The rest of his team on full retreat. DD looking for that lift. He will find the lift after the BKB ends, and as passive the game was 2 minutes ago, how it quickly crumbles for DK. Tier 1 Rax top Rax is gonna go down. And I do believe LGD just secured themselves a huge advantage with 45 seconds.
They have to take the second Rax too, because the first one won't mean a whole lot. But if they're able to get 2, that's ultimate pressure. And Burning gets sent back again, and that should mean a second Rax is going to fall for DK.
I mean, there's
30 seconds left on Super.
They're just so afraid of that scythe advice. Like, if he just gets scythed without the send back, he's just flat out dead, right? So I don't mind the send back, but as a result, they're not really defending these racks. It's still 20 seconds until the core comes back. We're gonna see a scythe after a skewer. Perfect.
That should mean the game, as
yeah.
2 racks are taken, and Burning has to buy back. And I mean, you're not buying back for anything.
Right.
They're gonna take the racks no matter what. I guess if he didn't buy back there, it would have. They would have
took the racks.
Yeah, it would have been a mega creep. But when you're behind like this, you can't waste your gold on buybacks.
Now,
I mean, you have to obviously, but at the same time, if you're using it on buybacks, it lowers your chances of success. And I mean, DK, as I was saying, they had an advantage. All of a sudden, their big damage dealer, their tanky hero, their initiator, Super, just gets picked off.
Actually, that's a very common occurrence, I want to say, for Super. He generally plays super well throughout the entire game. That was not an intended pun. And then he just waltzes off sometimes by himself and then just gives up a very crucial kill. They lose like a Rax or 2 off of it, and the game is over. So I think that's a stage of the game that Super needs to work on, recognizing where he can't be in the late stage of the game.
Yeah, and I think after the skewer went off, he should have been able to get the BKB off still. Like, if he had been spamming that, it would have been close, but regardless, he does go down. And I mean, with that, when they're so close to your base too, I mean, 2 creep waves are pushing in, that's going to lead to a double Rax.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So Burning going back to a Butterfly after his what's everybody trying to get Butterfly? Because Butterfly is probably one of the least valuable items in the game right now. There's 4 MKB. Yeah, there's 4 MKB in the game, but people are still building Butterflies. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay on Burning side, because the only MKB on LGD side is going to be on that Nature's Prophet. Burning, though, not exactly tanky anymore. He's got a 6-second BKB. The Hex is, I mean, the Hex absolutely demolishes him. And at this point, Sylar does quite a bit of damage as well. And that Medallion absolutely just crushing.
Yeah, I mean, Hexus also will remove Burning's evasion, so I'm not sure how much it's going to do. Basher is now back up on Alchemist. I think that's the item they definitely need, because BKB Basher on Alchemist, now he just walks up to whoever, Sylar included, and just go to work. Sylar with this evasion, and now Satanic is going to become an issue. Are they waiting for the next Roshan? And if they are, it's probably going to be like 2.5
DD is so farmed
minutes.
here at bottom. He's got a Yule Scepter.
Jeez.
And he's actually just dewarding everything with impunity. He's not afraid at all to be this far in by himself. And Xiaowei has 3,600 gold. A refresher picked up on Yao. You've got all these ancillary items where everyone just kind of has gold for days.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're playing a game with Nature's Prophet, it gets drawn out. You're taking a ton more tower.
Oh, another BKB is going to be picked up on LGD. Sylar going to go for that MKB. I assume from that Demon Edge, unless he's like, I have a Satanic, I can go for Rapier, but...
Yeah, I think that's how you lose the game. I'm pretty sure that he's going for MKB, and that's going to take us up to 4 MKB per game. Or, not per game, this game. LGD, thinking about a slow siege up on the bot lane? You might as well, right? What is exactly LG waiting for? Are they waiting for the Aegis? I don't
maybe
think
not. I mean, they know it's coming at 3803 thanks to MMY, but...
Right.
DK can still win this game. Super is still incredibly farmed. We haven't exactly seen what a 5-on-5 fight looks like, and there's no Aegis on LGD, but it looks like they want to take this as they realize the 2 creeps are going to push on the side, and Xiaowei just going to go here up top. What I would have liked to see DK do is, if they're going to be collapsing their base, maybe try to predict Xiaowei being up there and try to smoke gank him back, like they did to Super, but unable to do so, and DK going to have to defend from the front, and if they let their tower get beaten on like this...
I mean, Xiaowei doesn't give 2 hoots as he's working on the tower. Sylar's gonna get
stunned
up, and he force staff, and he there's a force staff. That's a RP on everybody, but BKB on 3 hero being used, but there is a refresher. Where's the RP? The second RP is somewhat slow, and now they're still burning all those BKB charge. Burning gets lifted at the end. He does not get the time lapse off, and that's gotta be it. I don't think he has buyback available. He does have to go for it, but no timer. GG gets called, and yeah, what a player. These RPs are absolutely brilliant. DD, great support Rubik, and overall, everybody play well on LGD China.
Yeah, especially DD. I mean, being able to get pickoffs, not really dying, only has 3 deaths this game. Yao not having any at all. That Rosh fight where he was able to pick off ROTK for free. ROTK not able to really get the track kills going. I mean, he went 275. Not exactly what you want to see on your bounty hunter. I mean, DK wasn't able to really get their strategy off so much. The top lane kind of was a wash, unable to kill Zhao 8 at any point, and even managed to push the tower. Zhao 8 by himself.
Yeah, the way you put it is like LG had a very clear and coherent plan. If you farm Blink on your Magnus, you farm up your Gyro, you farm your Prophet, you get some global gank going on, and then you push. Seems like DK never found that rhythm. I mean, Bounty Hunter was able to pick up a track kill here and there, brought themselves back in the game. They weren't sieging too much. They weren't taking successful Roshan fights. They weren't ganking well, despite having a Chen and a Nyx assassin. So I felt like DK just got someone outclassed in that game.
I thought they were making the right decisions though, especially giving up that T2 that time mid.
Right.
They realized if we split push farm here,
And then
we're
farming
getting
the
more.
heroes.
Yeah, we're getting more out of this. And taking that fight mid when they were able to blow up Sylar before he was able to get the BKB off. I mean, they made correct decisions in the mid game, but just that one crucial death on Super.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why it's so hard to play the 2 role or the carry, because all the farm's going on you, and if you die, your team just loses.
And he didn't have buyback then, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so.
that's one of the big things that surprised me, because one of the tenets of China is that Great Wall of China. It's you kill one of us and then we'll immediately buy back.
Yep.
And it's impossible to push up. But unable to have buyback, just kind of uncharacteristic of a player like Super.
I seen him make the same play on Dragon Knight. I seen him make the same play on Kunkka. Just the game goes so well, makes the correct decision, one mistake, and it just happens like every other 3-game series I see from him. So I don't want to rag on him too much, but again, that's something that he needs to fix. But that's game 1 in the books here. DK will drop game 1 to LG China. This is a best of 3 series in the semifinals of the RedBull ECL. We'll be back for game number 2. Here's the ever beautiful Blitz. That's so gangsta. And of course, I am Luminous. We'll be back for game 2.